Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network. I'm your host, Greg Ambrosius. I'm here with NFBC Hall of Famer Shawn Childs. He is doing a Beat Shawn Childs Cutline Championship League. $55,000 on the line. Shawn, how you doing today?
All right. Did you see the big news?
No, what is it?
Mike Masato got hacked.
He did?
That's what I just saw. Matty Davis. I was looking on Twitter because you said you're going to post that up there.
Well, Maddie was saying that a lot of fantasy people are getting hacked on Twitter, and I feel bad for him and stuff. But yeah, stay away from my account, damn it, man. That's not good. Okay, that's not the big news. The big news is the baseball season is 2 weeks away. WBC's going on. What the hell happened to the USA team last night?
They wanted to kind of screw Mexico. If they lost, they knock them out of the thing, right?
Yeah, right. So we'll see what happens. So, man, that'd be an upset if they didn't make the finals. I was looking forward to it. I think it's St. Patrick's Day as the finals, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'll be there.
We'll be out in Las Vegas. We can watch it. So, all right. Let's talk about this Cutline Championship. $150 entry fee, 10-team leagues, 42 rounds. We pay only one player in each league, and that's the first place. He gets $300. A lot. This is like a lottery ticket. So you get into the playoffs, which is after the All-Star game. You survive the Cutline because the top half or whatever will go forward. Then survive the Cutline one more time, and then we only got 20 teams battling for the 55,000 over the last 3 weeks. Kind of unique tournament. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think I played a lot of this event over time. I've done well a couple of years, but I don't even know how many entries I've had. I know a lot of people do it. I just get busy and stuff like that. But
yeah,
they should have won it the year Mike Trout got hurt in the 3-week run for the championship. I mean, he missed the last 10 days. If he plays the last 10 days, I win it. But Eloy Jimenez had a monster like 2 or 3 weeks there. Haven't heard from him since. Thanks for playing. He's over in Toronto trying to look for a job or something. But
yeah. Well, all right. This is a lot of fun. Like I say, they'll go quick, and this is a hybrid best ball. When you do best ball, there's no free agent pickups. You draft, you're done. This one has a little bit of a twist. There's one free agent pickup in the second Tuesday of April and one free agent pickup in the first Tuesday of June. I know some people complain about it. There's a lot of good players out there, but we draft real early. Minor leaguers come up. If we don't have 2 fab periods, you can't pick up anybody. What do you think? Is it needed or not?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to have the 2 waiver periods. In order for you to have the drafts early, you need the people to clean up the injury rosters right away. And the player pool is deep enough to fix the first one, and everybody has a shot. But if you draft later, you should have less team needs and maybe get a little more buying power. But as there is in any fantasy baseball or football thing, there's always a lot of injuries, and you need to fill them in. And I think the two periods kind of work well in this format.
Yep, we do have a best ball championship. I think it's $12,000 grand prize. You can get into that if you want, okay? But this one's $55,000, so you got to work a little bit at it. All right, these first 3 picks are like butter. I mean, is anybody else going in the top 3 picks when we get to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I think Acuna should go second overall. That's what I think.
Ooh. You think he will?
If I was drafted, I would. But I had 2 draft champions. I took one of each, Judge and him, just to be a little bit different. But that added steal is a big bonus, and you just look a little different when you're building your team. But Judge is just when he added that batting average to his skill set, that's such an edge, and he even chips in with some steals. So it is pretty massive. Foundation piece to a fantasy team.
Yep, definitely. All right, so here we go. This is pretty common in any format, right? It's Ohtani, Judge, Witt. Soto goes 4. Jose Ramirez 5 to 7 usually. Sometimes Acuna jumps him, and there goes Elly De La Cruz at 7. Shawn's got the 9th pick, so we will see what Shawn does here. These are 10-team leagues. Is there one position better than the other? I mean, it's just straight serpentine, but anything better than the other. It goes Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, this is an interesting format because the catcher position, if you get like 3 bad catchers, you can get negative scores. And so the catcher position is a little more important than this, especially where I think you're looking for players that can have big weeks and have events. So I think for me, it's shifts more to the power guys than it is the balance guys, especially if they're like 15 home run guys.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take Julio just to there, but I mean, Raleigh, I haven't had him, but I'd be interested in him. If he made it back, maybe we'll see what happens. But I'm going to take Julio. I think he'll have a good year. He could always have that breakout 40-40 type of season. He's been 30-30 and
Yep.
hasn't had a monster year and get the batting average right. But and if team 10 doesn't take a catcher, I'm going to come back and take the catcher because I'm gonna go with the edge at the catcher position. So
Yeah, and like you said, it's a point scoring system. You get -1 for every at bat. Home runs are worth basically 13 points. So steals are worth a couple of points, but it's not a roto style. It is a point scoring system. I guess I should look it up so I can tell everybody what the scoring is. But you're absolutely right. A catcher who hits 60 homers, even if he doesn't hit that many, I mean, he is going to be very valuable in this. And there he goes right there.
yeah, it would have been a fun to pair them, because by taking, you could have two guys in Seattle, and like I said, I talked
Yeah.
before, I did, I don't know their schedule, but if they went off, so you're looking for high scoring teams, and can put a lot of runs together. So so now I'm at a position where can I stack maybe two or three guys on the same team? Like if I go to the Dodgers, I might be able to get Tucker, Freeman, and Betts later on,
Mhm.
and kind of piecemeal it together. Kurtz is a little pretty attractive. I mean, Tatis is all right, but I really don't like their overall offense there. So, I guess down, do you want a piece of a better Dodger offense with Tucker or take Kurtz, the sexy thing? What should I do, Greg? You can make the call quick.
No, no, you make the call. I'm looking up the scoring so I can talk smart next time.
I'm going to take Kurtz because I'm going to take the event player with the home runs and the ceiling, and it gives me a good first baseman. But
Yeah,
like I said, drafting this compared to any other thing is different. I
yeah.
think you want to have like three multiples at every position. And the John Statmuller, who will never listen to this, he's too busy selling cards. I don't even think he plays fantasy anymore, but he's in a few of your leagues just for showing up. But
Yeah,
when
platinum,
he's
diamond auction, he's still in a few.
15,000, 10,000. But when you're looking at it, if you got a guy that qualifies at two position, he treats him as like Jazz Chisholm. He's a half a second baseman, a half a third baseman. So if you
Yeah,
can get three and you can get those multiple positions at each, you're going to have a pretty good roster. You need about 10 outfielders and maybe about 17 pitchers, and you get 9 of them. And the pitchers are the hottest ones because, that second half of the year when you got to make that stretch run, you might only have 13 guys, 12 guys left to make
yeah,
it. And, it's a long way to go. So staying healthy is a key part of winning. But at the same time, they have to have success almost like three. I guess the first week you kind of could survive that does it go from like 400 to 100 on that first cut line, something like that,
yeah,
or five,
something like that.
depending
Yeah,
on yeah. So that one you might still have a good team and survive, but then it gets a little tougher after that. And
yeah,
especially when you get to the final 20, obviously everybody's already in that.
yeah.
So it's just having the best team. And there's a lot of overlap of players usually at that point of the season. And then, hopefully you have those couple of outliers that have success. So,
Yep.
but yeah.
All right, here's the scoring on the hitting. It's -1 for every at bat. So if you have a low batting average, that type of guy can hurt you. 4 points for every hit, 2 points for every run, 6 points for every home run, 2 points for every run batted in, and 5 points for stolen bases. So again, a home run is actually 13 points. As far as pitching, it's 3 points for every inning, -1 for every hit allowed, -2 for every earned run, -1 for every walk allowed, 1 point for a strikeout, 6 points for a win, 8 points for a save. So there you go. Uh, relievers. Some people don't take any relievers. Some people like closers because 8 points per save if they get 3 in a week, 24 plus, nothing wrong with that, right? So the scoring was devised by KJ Duke and Todd Zola. KJ doesn't even play baseball anymore, and he devised this for us. Don't trash John Statmuller. Trash KJ for not playing anymore.
He's counting money in San Diego or something, I think, right?
He's playing softball. He got it back into softball, and he's playing softball. So we'll see him at football.
Yeah, yeah. On the pitching side, it's interesting because, like, when you're drafting a regular main event or something, or the wire, I mean, whip is a big factor. You don't want to get bad whip, but in this thing, if a guy walks guys, he's gonna want guys to get innings and strikeouts and potential at wins. So the whip is really, it maybe hurt you a little bit, but you're better off like. Just think of all the young guys this year, like, the Chase Burns and, McLean or whatever. Are those guys going to be pitching in September when needed and give you good innings? I mean, that's kind of a trade-off. You're taking a nice arm with upside, but will he be there? Will like a Zach Gallen or Aaron Nola give 32 starts and they're on the mound and gives you something late in the year, and then those are the kind of things you have to think about. But yeah, it's just it's an interesting format. I tend to fade the saves, but I looked at your this year. Seemed like in this format the saves get pushed back a lot more than other years,
Yeah.
at least the front ones compared to the other events.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, they do. Absolutely. All right, Mr. Watts, how do you join? Go to playnfbc.com. You can see at the bottom of the scroll here. And under the contests, it's called Cutline Best Ball. Actually, it's called Best Ball Cutline Championship. We got drafts every night at 9 Eastern and 11 Eastern, and we've got 2 hour and 1 hour drafts still going right now. The extended formats are very popular. I mean, Shawn had asked me, how are we doing? Prizes are based on 1,100 teams. We're at around 700 teams right now. So we're right there, and we sure hope to sell this thing out. And we pushed the envelope a little bit this year because we were $50,000 grand prize last year. It's 55,000 this year. So jump on in. We'd love to have you. I think you'll love this format.
Yeah,
All right. Any surprises here as I was looking stuff up? Caminero goes around 17. A little
yeah,
lower than
it's interesting because like the first baseman that they have got pushed up, Alonso and Guerrero. I mean, those basically would be first round draft picks in another event.
Yeah.
And we only have we got a closer, as the third pitcher off the board in this format. So like I said, it's just I expect the pitching to the secondary aces to get pushed back a little bit. I think you can build a staff, but you need to the pitching pool. And then to me, I'll wait on closers unless they fall in a range where I think they're okay. And then they're more important to me in the waiver wire and later on when the starting pitchers diminish and you get questionable starters if somebody's going to have a job. But I certainly don't want to take a closer that's not going to have a job.
Yeah. Right.
Lose it. But in the first waiver period, somebody might be more attractive to me. So as far as this, it's.
I was surprised Crochet went this long. I understand that pitching is downgraded here, but a guy who can get 200 plus strikeouts going in the third round at 27 is pretty darn appealing.
Yeah, and I really don't want to double at first base. So that means I wish I would have, because Olson, I looked at your ADPs. I didn't think he would make it back. He was like 35. So, actually he would make it back. I was just misreading it, so, but I think I'm going to double it first and get it out of the way. And I'm just going to punt the position and just take the home runs.
Yeah.
And it kind of, if you're going to be strong at first base, at least what overflows into the utility position. And some of the back end outfielders, aren't going to be that that great. That going to fill that position too much. But like I said, it's more looking for event games, and he kind of fits the bill here. So now I got to look at.
Nothing wrong with that. More power. Again, home runs are worth like 13 points, so can't go wrong. Bryce Terang playing well for Team USA.
Yeah, this is interesting because just trying to time this. Like if you do a couple of these, you got a feel for it. But at least you don't have like the, I don't know. So I guess some of the names I recognize, the team names, but some of these leagues you get like 8 or 10 guys that have done a lot of them, and they have a certain way of building the team structure. But I'm gonna go with the Dodger pitcher and just knock it out of, get it out of the way. Get somebody for the Dodgers. Hopefully I can get 30 starts out of them, win a lot of games, doesn't walk a lot of guys. And over the next probably, I don't know, 6 or 7, 8 rounds, I'll probably try to alternate and take one pitcher, one hitter if it presents itself. I just looked at it, skimmed through second base. There's really not much there to fight for that early. Third base, I wouldn't mind to see like a Riley or somebody make it back to me. I could pair him potentially with Olson. But after that, third base, you could wait a little bit.
Why are you trying to pair hitters on the same teams?
Well, because if they get into that range of that playoff weekend, if Atlanta scores a lot of runs and that thing, so I'm not going to strictly look for that. It's just a possibility that I could do that. And if I was a little sharper, I would have said, are the Dodgers playing Colorado, 2 series over that stretch, or somebody playing, like a Washington or whatever the bad pitching staffs are, and they could unravel. But like I said, it's I don't want to be pitching heavy out of the gate because if if I would have looked at a draft board of the ADPs before, I could see that, maybe I could get six or eight starters in
Hmm.
ranges of say 15 to 25 that are okay. But right now, I haven't done them. I know the names that I would be looking for and who I would like, but
Yeah.
timing them would be a little more difficult. So,
Yeah.
get two good players at each position at least, and hopefully the third guy is someone that you like that plays that can mix in a little bit. So that that's what I'm thinking about. Like I said, I've done enough of these that I know the style I want to do. I just don't have the really good flows for it. And I'm talking to you, so I'm not going to be like, staring at the draft board. I mean, I know,
Yeah.
as soon as I knew the names, I know if I like somebody or don't like somebody, and it's just about game plan after that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense of the last 3 weeks. We don't go into the last week of the MLB season, so the 3 weeks in September are the final round, right? Like that's the final table of 20 is there, and one of the 20 is going to win 55,000. So like Shawn is saying, he wants teams that are fighting for playoff spots. Players are playing every day. They're not resting. They're not letting the rookies come in and take their spot to showcase. So makes a lot of sense that he's looking for playoff teams that got a lot to play for in September because that's when they're going to score points that could win you $55,000. Have you made the final table before? You have, haven't you?
I came in third. I
Yeah.
came in third. I won 15,000. I was in second place. The last game of the night in the eighth inning, gonna win 25,000. But the closer Kenley Jansen came out and pitched one inning in the eighth inning in a non-save thing for being a closer,
Yeah.
and that guy passed me by like a point and a half. He got like one strikeout, so I lost 10 grand on that. And nevertheless, say I could have actually still won it. I had Shane Bieber pitching in the sixth inning, giving up one run. He gave up six base runners in the seventh inning to get a
Wow.
negative start out of it, and didn't get any strikeouts. And Lance Lynn was supposed to pitch the next day against like the A's or something, and they scratched him like
Oh, yeah.
so because a pitcher could in that format could get like 20 points with a win and
Yeah.
six
Right.
Ks and 6 innings or 7 innings, and so I needed 20 points out of those starters to win, and that's with the Mike Trout not playing over
Yeah.
that stretch, but and I did come a couple years ago. I think there was a year that Vlad came in like third or fourth or fifth or somewhere in there, and I came in like eighth, and I did pretty well in that year. But the
Mm.
year before that one, I was sleeping at the wheel the second waiver period. When McClanahan and all the good pitchers that year came up, I missed the waiver period. I was doing something, and
You're bowling probably.
your teams are all done. You missed that
They're done.
second.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're. I was like, and I might have had more teams than usual. It wasn't like I had three, but I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly. But I was like, because in that thing, you could have $750 and you could
Yeah.
bid $100 on three or four pitchers. You can really
Yeah.
fill out the back end of your pitcher staff. And there was a lot of talent that I would have got some of the players. And the trick is on the second waiver wire is like some people will have like $800 and spend 500 on one guy.
Right.
And
Right.
the other thing with that is if you have to bid on players, you actually have to bid almost the same amount for the whole thread line because
Right.
you can't bid 200 and then 100 and then 50 because you don't know how you're going to get them. So is
Right.
a trick to learn how to do the bidding on it. And that's, I think, one of them that year that I came in third, I had like five pitchers I picked up for $18, but I might have had 20 pitchers in each thread line, and I
Yeah.
got five, whatever they were. But that was a long time ago, and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the truth. I mean, when you look at that last fab thread on people's accounts, you'll see a big number for, let's say, a starting pitcher because he knows he needs one. It'll be 400, 400, 400. You might have 10 guys there, right? And then he's got another thread of 250, 250, 250 because he wants to spend it all. He's going to spend it all, right? And he needs three key people or whatever. So he puts them all on there. It's not like you can have seven different threads and you're hoping 200 here, 125 here. I hope I get them all. But yeah, it's a very, very important one. And a lot of people have money because, like you say, when you draft later, you don't have a lot of holes to fill on April 7th or whatever the heck the date is this year. So you got a lot of fab money for that last one. I'm kind of curious what you said that 17 pitchers. That almost seems like that's not quite enough out of
yeah,
42
but I mean,
spots.
well, when you look at the scoring in this, I don't know how close you look at it, but if you have get 700 uh, for the week,
Yeah.
you did well, and
Yeah.
most likely it's 500 for hitting and 200 for pitching.
Okay.
So you got to kind of really get the 500 portion.
Yeah.
Got to be the stronger of the two. But you got to, you got to be able to have enough pitching depth where you can
Right.
still get the double starters and mix them in and cycle them through.
Right.
So I'm
Right.
going to go back to here and I'm going to take another home run hitter from, if I can get my mouse over there. Where is it? We got two
Contact
computers.
help.
Yeah, it's coming back to me. There it is. I'm going to take Riley with Olson and go that
Good.
way and just double up. I was thinking that maybe he would make it back, but he wasn't that far off. And then and I have to look to see if there's a pitcher, two good pitchers there. And then I got to judge, if I wait on it, is like Logan Gilbert's ADP 67. Do I take a Sanchez or Brown if he doesn't take him and get a second one? But realistically, like I said, when I opened up on the opening thing here, I think catchers are important. And I would really like to have a catcher
Mhm.
on this. There's three of them are going to, or possibly four of them, going to run off in the next round. So
Yeah.
I would think I will pass on the pitcher because it's not like I have to have dual aces and stuff. I just need a lot of good pitchers,
Yeah.
and and a lot of good pitchers that can potentially pitch 180 innings or more would be ideal. So I think I'm going to come back and take a catcher. I'm going to lean towards Augustus Ramirez because he can steal some bases and hit home runs. I do like what Baldwin. He might hit second.
Yep.
Salvador Perez hits home runs and he has events, but he doesn't score a lot of runs. And his batting average is a little more drag, and he big walk. So Baldwin, Baldwin could be the thing. I could actually maybe I should take another Brave, huh? You know
Loading
what?
up. All right, we
You
only
know
had
what?
5 starting pitchers off the board, and Wu went ahead of Sanchez. It's kind of interesting. Sanchez lasted a long time here.
Yeah,
Uh,
you know what? Because I said the Braves, I'm gonna go with the Braves because you're gonna
Going
hit him
Braves,
second.
huh?
Yeah, forget that thing I said of Ramirez. That's more main event style. I'm going stacking.
Stacking on the Braves. All right. Well, Sal Perez has got dual eligibility, first base and catcher too, so that makes him a little more appealing.
Yeah, but then, like the strike for him, like I said, he's got 54 runs. He is the 30 home runs and the RBIs, but
Yeah.
he also doesn't take many walks. He's a free swinger. So, I mean, there is, he's going to get, if he's got 597 at bats, would you say it's -1 for every one of those?
Yeah.
And then gets a few walks. So it does, change his value. And obviously, you look at it, I think those points total you have right there are from last year. And
Hmm.
you could easily run them for this year. And I think I even have it in my spreadsheet set up for your scoring if I wanted to look at it, but even from last year, but I didn't, I don't really care because I mean, I have a pretty good mental picture what I think of a lot of players, but it is helpful when you compare, like, Salvador Perez should be better, 100
Yeah.
points better than some other catcher, and he might not be.
Hmm.
So,
Yep. All right. So plenty of catchers going. Will Smith goes after that. Heck, we got as many catchers as we have starting pitchers right now. There goes Sal
yeah,
Perez right there.
there's nobody in this draft listening to us, right?
I don't know. I mean, we got 100 plus on listening to us right now, so maybe 9 of them are people who are drafting. I would hope so.
That's
They
kind of
signed
interesting,
up
Tom.
because there was you on this live stream. So, we don't sell out cut lines every day in the matinee. So you help sell this out. And I think they're listening to you. I do.
You think it is because I'm dead money? I'm past my prime. I peaked in the steroid era. Is that what it was?
I do think so. I think they know that you're past your prime, that I'm close to kicking you out of the Hall of Fame. And if you don't start winning this year, it's very possible. I think
If
right
I
during the
was
lockout, if they're going to have a lockout, that'd be a good time to kick you out. It's kind of like a Friday news day. Nobody will notice that I kicked you out of the Hall of Fame.
Hey, well, how about this? Why don't you next year, because there's going to be a lockout, we'll sign
Yep.
up for labor and they'll cancel and we won't do it.
I think they did it online. No, they did it out in Phoenix this year. Did you know that?
I thought there was something else going on. It
Yeah.
was back to being fun again, right?
Yeah, it's back to being live and better out in Phoenix than it was in Florida.
Look at Team Two taking
That's
all closers. He says I want the edge in saves.
See, that is some people do that where they again you get 20, let's say you get 28 points this week from Diaz, 28 from Miller, 28 from Cade Smith. Don't have to worry about the start. You can get starting pitchers later, but those seem to be like reliable weekly points. We'll find out, right? But
Well, the thing with the saves is that, like, yeah, you're going to have those 3 save weeks, but if he has like a week where they get one each in his first 3 picks and he doesn't have double starters,
yeah,
and I don't know how he builds it, but I mean, there's no innings thing on this or
nope,
whatever, so it's
nope,
take it wherever you want,
yep,
So,
yep,
but those 3 pitchers are most likely they could, because they're relievers and
yep,
they could be healthier, and
yep,
taking out the injury risk a little bit.
yep.
Um, but
Strikeout pitchers as well. So yeah, I think the three of them are interesting. But like you said, some people won't take any pitchers. I mean, any closers, right? You just got to have 9. You draft 17 starters, and you hope a couple of them 2 starters, and they don't hurt you too bad because they can hurt you. You talked about the catchers. Just look at the catchers going off the board here, right? What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 9 catchers off the board in the first 64 picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's definitely interesting that way. So, well, I don't need a
Well, like you
first
say,
base.
you don't want to get negatives from it, right? Like if you take 2 10th round, 10th, 11th round catchers, you could have a low score every week from those guys.
It's actually like if you have 2 good, decent catchers, and then you have one guy with upside and doesn't play a
Yep.
lot. If you get a
Yep.
0 on a guy, you get a zeros are better than a -16.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so. But I'm gonna stick to the I wanted Ramirez last round. I'm gonna double a catcher. I don't care. I'm doing
Oh,
it.
there you go. There you go. Okay.
So
I thought you were going to take another Brave for crying out loud.
I would have, but they go a little bit later, I think. So
Hey, let me talk to you about Kurtz. So he goes 12th overall here. Bandbox of a ballpark, that plays a factor, correct? Is he a really good player, or was it a park factor last year?
no, I think he's a really good player. I think he's an advanced hitter, and the strikeout rate is kind of scaring people away, but. His strikeout rate in college was like 16% or something. He had 189 walks and 130 strikeouts. He even stole like 11 bases, was never caught. So I think he can actually steal, maybe 6 to 10 bases and be sneaky and help out in there. He should get better. Lineup's decent in front of him and stuff like that. So I think he's going to get RBI chances. But there's not many players that can have that kind of success for that. As long as he did.
Yeah.
His strike for everybody is the strikeout rate. But I think that he is a player that will improve that. Will he get to 25% this year? Maybe. Will he get to 21%? But if he gets to 21% this year and takes the more walks, he's going to be a beast. And
Yeah.
but
Well,
but
I was in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, obviously, talking with Ian, and they're making progress on the ballpark. I tell you what, I can't imagine what the strip's going to be like when they've got that ballpark at the corner, where Tropicana used to be. It is going to be a zoo for traffic, that's for sure. But it's starting to come up. You can kind of see parts of it already. All right, who'd you take here now?
I took Hunter Brown. I really should have taken a shortstop or an outfielder because I don't really outfielders relatively weak in depth, so I don't want to get too far back on that one either. But yeah, the thing with Las Vegas is that it's good for us, right? Because when we usually stay for a few more days, now we can go to games.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think getting tickets won't be that hard, to be truthful. It's going to be dependent on tourists coming into town. I don't think they're going to sell out 40,000 season tickets in Las Vegas. I think it's going to be very seasonal, so easy to get tickets. So yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to go there first, right? It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, look
You
who's
should be
watching us right now.
You should get season tickets for being the events there. We'll pay you this many dollars for the events fee, but we want season tickets for the year.
I will ask. Scotty Engel's tuning in here. G-Man and Shawn, of course. Good to see you, Scotty. We're talking baseball. You're a football guy. Come on, you're a football guy. I know you love baseball too, Scotty. Yep.
Maybe Kim, your facilitator, your head facilitator, she has season tickets to the hockey, right?
She's got Golden Knights season tickets. So does Kequin, our buddy Scott.
Just get the baseball things, and then we're in.
Yeah, Kim works at a law firm. I'm sure she's got access to some tickets. So hang tight. She may have to treat us one time out there. But that's like 28 or 29. I'm too old to keep doing this until 28 or 29. My goodness. You too. You're getting too old for this.
What's the retirement number fantasy?
From playing fantasy or from working in fantasy?
Well, I mean, you're just in the social aspect. You don't really work anymore.
That is true. That is true. I'm just a media guy. I could work from a beach, right? That's the beauty of it.
Well, next year you got the magazine, so you can start writing about the magazines.
No, I'm not doing a baseball magazine. There you go, Scotty. Seaver and Gooden, you go way back, buddy. You go way back for sure.
Back when cocaine was a thing for Gooden, right?
Hey, I'm watching on Prime the Soul Power. It's the history of the ABA. I got through 2 episodes last night. Fantastic. I mean, if you're our age and you remember the ABA and Dr. J, it's very, very good. Watch it on Prime Network. It's really good.
Could you have played in the ABA?
Absolutely not. I could have played probably the NBA, which was a slower game, dish it into the big guy, right? That's the beauty of this show is like the NBA was stale. They didn't run a lot. They dumped it into Wilt or to Kareem, and people got tired of it, right? So the ABA, they were high flying, slam dunking. They introduced the 3-point line. They introduced the dunk contest at the All-Star game. So they absolutely made the NBA change. So definitely interesting. All right, we better get back to the draft board here. We better get back here. Starting to see a few more closers. Duran goes to team 7 in round 8. Andres Munoz. Look at that team 2. He's stacking them closers, Shawn. Munoz now, he's got 4 of them.
He's going to lead the league in saves.
There is no category of saves. Fast Freddy, I like Fast Freddy going to team 4 there in round 9. Sale dropping all the way to team 6. All right, you got any Story would have fit your team. You got any shortstops you're looking at here or not?
Yeah, I would have Story would have made it. I would have taken him, but Pena's a little nicked up. Adames is kind of an event guy. He makes sense, but I think I don't think I would go there. Second base, I looked at it. I mean, Rafael is okay. I mean, Albies gives me another Brave. I don't know. Would he make it back again? It would take a lot, but I don't need to push it. I don't need to push that position up. See, as soon as you talk about somebody, when you talk about them, even if you're not even on these things, they draft the player. You panic. But actually, I wanted O'Neal Cruz anyways. Hopefully he's a little better against lefties this year. Been working in the off season. Never been a fan of him in the past as far as like being able to draft him. He was like 4th rounder. I thought he struggled with lefties and strikeouts were too much. So last year, and then he got hurt the other year. But this year, I think he looks like, the exit velocity and all that stuff match up. The Pirates lineup's a little bit better. He can, hit the ball far, steal some bases. So I think that's a pretty good value. I think because I'm in behind at the other positions, I am going to have to skip the starting pitcher here and focus on, getting at either that second base or.
Are you worried about the strikeouts from Cruz and the batting average?
Not really. Even in the fantasy, because I use this contact batting average, that guy could hit over 400 if he puts the ball in play. So I still think he could hit like close to 250. He's watched for a little bit better last year, but he's not ideal. But like I said, where you need a lot of outfielders here, and he's a guy that could potentially, hit 25 home runs, steal 30 bases, maybe hit 30 home runs, be a 30-30. So is this tied to those other contests? If you win this one, with the other ones too?
As far as the bonus?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Can you connect it right now so I can have a chance at
that? First of all, you plan on winning the main event?
Well, I mean,
you've never won the main event.
Well, ultimately, your goal is for me to win it, so you can, you can say, "Listen, I wasn't really drinking when I was in Vegas that time when I put in."
I have no goal of anybody winning. I just want to make sure everyone has a great year. The money's there at the end, which it will be, so it's all good. Oh, now you go for Adames.
I'm just looking for somebody to hit a home run. I'm just, like I said, like in a main event, and it's just a guy that you might not take. Like he's, he could do some stuff, and best looking guy, sitting there. Jacob Wilson, not enough power for me. Good hitter and stuff like that will help in the roto stuff. Doesn't steal enough. Pena's a little nicked up, more balanced. Swanson's probably a little similar to Adames, but Adames is, with the steals added to it, his power is a little higher ceiling. Not the greatest spark, but I had to get one, right? When you're waiting that long and taking those doubling at first base and taking a couple pitchers there, so
doubling at catcher too.
Yeah, the catcher thing will probably put me behind a little bit, but at least. The rest of the teams will have to catch up there, and we'll see. But I think there's enough. Like second base, I know from drafting the 15 teamer, there's other players that I think that are okay. Yeah. Shortstop, I probably don't want to chase too far down. I've already have done that. But what am I going to do?
Yeah. No, I mean second base. It's not I guess you could call it is top heavy. It's very similar after the first couple of guys go off the board. Uh, Rafaela is a good pick. He could have fit on your team, I think, too. Plus, he qualifies in outfield, right?
Yeah, he could have fit, but like to me, it's like, it's a guy hitting, bottom of the lineup, has talent, could
Yeah,
improve, but even Nico Horner is like, he is the guy can. I don't think he can hit over 10 home runs. I mean, but Albies is a guy that could hit 30, could
yeah.
steal more bases. Don't they have the first base coach from the Mets? Like he
There you
could
go. I
be
got
more
a
valuable.
question for you. Scotty asks, "What's your opinion on Carter Jensen and Carson Benge?"
Well, I'm drafting Jensen if they give him to me at a certain point.
Yeah,
I think the Mets outfielder has a decent shot to make him. I think he looks pretty good,
yeah,
but where Jensen, I liked him a lot, and I liked him actually better than Teal. But I thought Teal had a better chance to hit higher in the lineup. Obviously, Teal just got hurt yesterday and possibly missing
yeah,
time. But he fits, hits the ball hard, a lefty, could steal some bases. There's a lot to like in this type of format. I think he kind of works out well,
yeah,
especially if you're getting him as a third catcher, which I would be doing. But I cannot, depending on how it goes. I don't think I could add that extra catcher, so
yeah.
I need to. So I would imagine that he lands on another roster in this format. Is he drafting in this or is he
No,
watching?
Scott, he's just watching. Yeah, yeah.
How much?
What's the thought on Connor Griffin? I mean, he's just rising up boards, right? He's at 100 here, which is really high. What's your thoughts on the 19-year-old?
I took him in the relatively early in the online championship when I was doing that one with Eddie, but I hadn't drafted him at all. And I think that when he was going in the main events at 19th, that was a really good price point because
Mhm.
you most likely have the good first, good second base and shortstop, and you're looking for a middle, and you can get somebody else behind him and do it. But at that point, you need this guy to start out in the major, especially in the cut line. You don't want to fall behind too much.
Yeah,
But the key to him is, will Pittsburgh get a deal done before the start of the season? It sounds like he wants to sign, but if he doesn't, they're going to try to get that super stew status out of him. And how long does that take before they get him called up? So I think if he gets there, the alternative of playing Gonzalez is the other option. They would play it short or something.
Mhm.
Like I think that what the stuff that he brings to the table is a lot better, even if he's not ready than what they're going to put out there. So they should play him, and their team looks better. So why not let him develop and be a key part of it? But I don't pay the bills in Pittsburgh, and I don't make the call. So most likely in the main event, I probably won't end up with him. But in the online championship or something like this, where you're swinging for a little more upside at
yeah,
the end of the year, you could have a lot more value. It makes a lot more sense. In a 12-teamer, I think it's ideal because you can get really good players at short and second, like in the 20s, and you might be able to get him. So
yeah.
you're where do you have to pay for him, and does he fit where you're trying to build? And he's a category guy. If he could steal a lot of bases, I think I had him at 18 home runs and 30 steals or something, and missing 39 games. That's a
Well,
lot.
well, there's no incentive for Pittsburgh to really send him down because if they do bring him back up and he's what in the top 3 of the Rook of the Year or whatever, he gets that year of eligibility anyways. So they're kind of de-incentivized to send him down, but knowing them, they probably will.
Yeah, I mean, there's
All
some
right,
point
Scotty
because
says he is in this draft. So I don't know what spot you got, Scotty, but keep knocking her out of the park. That's good stuff.
he's drafting in this draft.
I
So
guess. Yeah,
is
I
he
don't
going
know.
to get? If he can he give us some tips why he's asking
Oh,
questions
he's
too?
probably the one taking your players right after you announce them all the time.
Oh, so if I want Jensen, I got to take him now so he doesn't get him.
You
You
already
know,
have 2 catchers. Oh, okay, he says he's not in this league. I got her confused. I'm sorry. He's in
yeah.
tout this week, so good luck in tout for sure. Yeah, so I know it's interesting though on Griffin, and I'd love to see him make it. He looks good, obviously in a baseball uniform. He's got the talent. 19 years old to be good. All right, you're going back to pitching, huh? So you said you were going to kind of alternate here.
Yeah, I had to go double there, but I looked at second base and I figured somebody would make it back. I don't mind like Kershaw. I haven't rated actually as a top value at second base, but that's because of
Yeah.
potential steals and top of the order stuff. But is he that much better than what's out there? But I am gonna have to think. So do I take a Jackson Holiday and to improve? I think he won't miss much time.
Yeah.
Edwards is one dimensional. I don't want like somebody that doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have an advanced spots. more of a split. So I think I really have to get in at second base here. So do I believe in a young player in, so it's either Holiday or Kearsall. And last year Holiday was, close to being a 2020 player. Should get better. Doesn't hit enough loft on the ball, but I think I'm just going to take the balance, because I kind of know what he did last year should be translate to this year, and then with Alonso at, it'd be a little bit better. Where the other guy, I think, like in the AL auction, I think I would go
There
for
you go.
the others. I would go for the other skill set.
I would be if we were labor. I'd say get in on Holiday. Get in on Holiday. He was talked about good at the Arizona Fall League Symposium. Lots of good numbers. I understand the hamate bone injury, but I don't think he's going to miss a lot of time there either. So I would take a Holiday there myself. First time we've ever agreed on this one.
Yeah, the hammer bone, he'll be back, and like he might even be ready for opening day. If he misses
Yeah.
3 games or something, that's not. I don't think it's a factor. But yeah. But he has a little more experience in the majors. I'm taking a guy that was hurt last year, can steal bases, could hit double-digit home runs, and probably bat lead off. But this thing
Yep.
is more about get in, get out, get a decent player. You want, like I said, you want home runs. Speed with home runs is really good. And if they take walks, it's a bonus. Obviously, if they don't take walks and a lot of strikeouts, but
Yeah.
the power for me is kind of key. And the thing with Kirby is that I think that he could give me a lot of innings, and he does come off a shoulder injury and a little bit of injury risk, but he's a guy that should make 30 starts if healthy, and doesn't walk many guys, and that's helpful. And the team's pretty good, so. If he wasn't at the top of the queue, I might not have taken that pitcher. I would Luzardo. I mean, I'm okay with him, but.
So you got 3 starting pitchers in your first 12 picks. Team 8's right next to you. He doesn't have any pitchers at this point. Team 3 has 1 pitcher. Team 1 has 1 pitcher. So lots of different strategies. This is not a normal board that you'll see in a roto contest. Again, this is a points-based system. It's pretty damn interesting because everyone builds their teams differently. Like, take a look at Team 2. He's got 4 closers. Most teams won't have any closers. So what do you feel on your position of 3 starters right now and 9 hitters?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I'm in that range where I should be looking at one of each going around, because I've already doubled at first. I've already doubled at a catcher, so I can kind of feel out those 2 positions. Now I got to make sure I get at least a decent shortstop and second baseman, but I also got to keep an open mind at the outfield, because I don't want to go too far
Right.
and chase the outfield. But this is, we're at what, 120. What are we in? That's the end of the 8th round. I mean, there is a lot of good players. We're draft main events. There's a lot of good
Right.
players still left.
Right.
And it's just a more identifying and seeing them. But I'm not looking at the names, but I know the names that I would be looking for when we get there. And I don't think we're going to see too many like ADP jumpers in this type of format. We're going to see different styles and stuff like that of how people want to build it. But they've pretty much, the ADVs have been pretty close to how they should go, and
Yep. There goes Jensen right there, and Spencer goes at 119. I got to ask you about Spencer Strider. What are your thoughts on him? Like in the main event, where does he go? I saw the first couple of drafts. He went like 5th round and 7th round.
Yeah, I drafted him all 3 draft champions because I thought he would move up in March, and I thought he was a guy that had ace upside in the 7th inning, but obviously coming off an injury and underperformance last year, and then he didn't look good in this first. His velocity was down. He had a slight shoulder issue that they didn't really release too much, but he threw the ball a little bit harder last time, so people got a little pepped up on him. So if he goes out there like he did last year and he has like 8 or 9 strikeouts, the gas is on. People will push him back up. But ideally, if the fastball gets to 97 range, the secondary stuff he has swing and miss, maybe he won't be as great as he was that first year. But the second year, he got all those strikeouts, but he gave up too many hits, and the ERA was out of line. But I do think that he is a really, really good arm when healthy. But to Tommy John surgery, and if we have to, who do we got to talk to? That Dr. Dave, to see if we get permission if we can draft these type of guys. Is that what it is?
Dr. Dave McDonald? Yeah, you can ask him. Team 2 takes his 4 closers, then he goes Strider and Snell. We don't know how many innings Snell's going to pitch this year. Maybe he gets 100. I don't know.
Well, he's looking for him to be ready in September, so he's looking for that.
That's right.
Yeah, so
just like last year, he gets to the final table, then he's got Snell gearing up the gas and mowing down the Brewers. So should be interesting. All right, we'll do this for maybe 1 or 2 more rounds, and then we'll call it a day. It's 42 rounds, like I said, 10 teams, 42 rounds. It's 420 players. Our draft champions draft 750. The main event, you draft 450. So this is a good prep a little bit for the main event as well. Online championship is 360 teams. So jump on in, go to playnfbc.com if you're looking for any of our contests. Everything is selling out, man. I'm telling you, it's our best year ever for sure. And all these contests are crazy. The main event, it's got I think 169 spots left. We should get the 855, I think, pretty easily this year.
Yeah, I think this shortstop position is actually weaker than the second base as far as like getting a guy that can do stuff and hitting a favorite part of the lineup. I know that he tanked last year, but he should be a little bit better. And his ADP is 146, which I maybe should take him next round, but I need to get a shortstop there, and then I'm going to just take him because but he falls into where he doesn't take a lot of walks. He had a lot of bats 2 years ago, like 663 or something, and a lot of the sharps were on him last year, and he kind of let him down. So I think he, maybe a little stronger. And playing in Colorado, like I said, I'm just looking for events.
I just did the auction league with Tom and Jeff, and on Sunday night I got Holiday and Tovar. We should have been in labor together. We're starting to agree on certain things here.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have done that in labor. And
not in the AL. You would have done it in the NL, I think.
No, because I just did the pricing for the NL. That's a good thing. I don't have to get ready for that. But
yeah.
So I don't think I end up with either one of those. But Holiday I could end up in the AL. So now this is will McLean be up there in September? Bradish, everybody likes him. Innings, Gossman, you know what he's going to get.
Yeah.
Wheeler coming off in, and then Alcantara is most likely going to be there when it gets back. So if I want to picture, those are the 4 I should go for.
Were you considering McLean before he got picked?
Well, not that, but I was a big will he be there in September? And that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Bradish is a guy that gets drafted a lot higher.
Yeah, he does.
And so don't love him, but he did pitch well, and I can't think of the other option is. So I don't think they're going to move some players around. So I'll just take Bradish, and like I said, I'll try to stay into that range. I didn't like the outfielders, and I'll go back to it after they took Bradish because Lawrence Butler injury, Hap's okay. Barger, did pretty good. Doyle steady. Trout, I guess Cruz, Simpson. There's not like guys that really blow me away in that range.
Well, you only got 2 of them right now, just so you know.
Oh no, and I gotta get 10. And I gotta get 10. And if you notice, I'm such a slacker, is like I probably have no multi-position players. A lot of people really kind of think that's.
Absolutely,
a big part
especially
of it,
in this contest. You're right.
But if you get 3 players at the same position, you got to still stay healthy. If you get hurt, what if you depend on a multi-position guy and you got 2 of them and they get hurt? I don't know. So, but
it doesn't hurt to have multiple.
No
position. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a good tiebreaker. If you 2 guys that you like similar and they qualify, that would be definitely helpful.
Yeah. All right. When are you getting out to Las Vegas?
I get out on the 17th. I fly in.
St. Patty's Day, right?
Yeah, I get in at 1:07. Hopefully, I'm at the hotel by 2 or so. Are there problems at the airport?
Well, I just flew back from Florida, and it's a little bit delayed. I got to Chicago. It was a lot delayed with TSA. So I'm flying out tomorrow. I'm kind of concerned about it myself. I'm going to leave a little bit more time. But to be honest with you, they seem to be less picky of what they were scanning and trying to keep the lines moving. So I don't think you need to be there like 3 hours beforehand or anything. They're finding a way to get people through faster with less people. That's what I'll say.
Can you take your waiver in it down the Mississippi and get down there?
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'm flying tomorrow, and I think it's going to be interesting. And then I'm actually leaving Newark at like 7 a.m. And I'm thinking, what time do I get to New York on a Monday morning for a 7 a.m. flight? Because I would think TSA would be backed up that day. So we'll see. But kudos or good luck to everybody who is flying out to Vegas. We got a great time happening. It's going to be fun.
Are you going to make the 120 live
What 120 live?
for the main event on Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. You're going to join me on Sunday. Well, we're at 110. We need 10 more spots. If not, we're just going to have to do the first 7 leagues, and that's just the way it is. So, but yes, we will pick the league assignments live on Sunday on this channel. I'm thinking like 2 or 3 in the afternoon Eastern time. Mike and I haven't hooked up yet on what time, but I think like 2 or 3. I'll announce it. You will join us. Get that data if you can for us. How many main event league titles in each league? That'd be awesome, and we'll get you in after a couple of rounds or a couple of leagues are picked and have some fun with that. So I invite anybody that wants to join us who's in the Las Vegas main event. Pop on, talk about your league. We'll have some fun on Sunday. But we could use 10 more to sign up. I got a list right here. How come you're not signed up? How come you're not signed up? We got guys in Vegas that need to sign up yet.
Yeah, did you make the sales pitch to get somebody to draft a main event on Thursday that you need to close?
We need that too. We need 2 leagues there. I'll tell you the thing we don't have to worry about is the auctions. They're just flying off the board. So
yeah,
we're gonna have 4 auctions at once on Friday at 4 o'clock. That's gonna be crazy.
You need me to be the auctioneer?
We brought Tom in out of the bullpen. We're all right.
I actually did a football auction that I was in the league and the auctioneer.
Gee whiz.
Talk about those guys overbidding me every time I bid on somebody. Yeah. Going once, going twice, 22, 23.
You gotta be faster. You gotta be faster. Yeah. Are you not in any auction on Friday at 4 o'clock?
No, not anything on Friday. I got this big party to go to. I got to get rest for it.
You don't need rest for that party.
So, yeah, did this guy, Team 2, take some more starters?
All right, what do we got? Team 2 took, no. Ooh, he went with Hader.
Whoa.
That might be a little risky there. He's starting out on the IL.
He was winning after 12 rounds, and he started to panic and taking the injury risk.
Like Snell, Butler, Hader. All right, we're going with your 2 last picks, and then we're calling it a day so that I can get back to work.
Yeah, all right.
I thank you all for joining us. We got a good crowd here, 169 people on right now. That's great. So this is the NFBC Best Ball Cutline Championship. Jump on in. If you need a little incentive, I think we're going to have some promo codes coming soon. So, all right, let's see what this guy said. If you already drafted and have Hunter Green, would you even attempt holding him or drop immediately in a RotoWire Online Championship format? Well, July's a long time to wait for Hunter Green, right?
He gone.
He gone, yeah. I think you have to. Those 7 reserve spots are so valuable that you're just going to have to. That's one of the risks of drafting early, but yeah, I think you have to cut them.
It's hard enough winning with healthy players, never mind starting out with injured players, Yeah.
And I mean, you just got to chalk it up to that happens. You didn't see it when you were drafting, obviously, but you got to move on, I think, because those 7 roster spots, especially in a 12-teamer, right? Like your streaming pitchers, you might have somebody who's going to be back in 2 weeks. They're just so valuable. You can't hold on to them. All right. What did you just do here? Matt McLean? Yeah.
I jumped them up. I needed somebody that was balanced, and I just figured I'm not going to they moved up Caglione like a couple rounds. So, so I just figured I'd just take somebody that I think looking potential to be the number 2 option rather than number 3. The other players, like if I get any of the other second basemen, I'd be all right with them. But he was the one that probably had the most potential out of the next guy. But his ADP was well into the 200s. But get that you need and move on.
He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah, all so right. I gotta go back to the outfield position, and I'm just gonna take Cruz. I mean, to me, it's like just the guy with upside, but decent part of the lineup. But Reynolds would be all right. Lineup's a little better. I could put Reynolds I could tie Reynolds up with O'Neill Cruz. But I don't know. So, but
they're not going to be in the playoff race in September, just so you know.
Pittsburgh isn't?
I don't think so.
Who's going to win that division?
Probably the Cubs, but don't count out the Brewers.
Brewers are done.
No, they're not. Okay. With that, we're going to shut off the mic right now.
Why don't you just leave it open and I'll talk for the rest of it, and then you can check back in a couple of hours.
I know you could talk for a couple hours, so no, I have to censor you. I know how much you swear, so I have to be here to censor you. So I can't just leave it the open mic.
I can behave myself if needed.
All right. Well, I'm going to see you in a week. What the hell is today? The 11th? Okay, I'll see you in 6 days then. So check in when you get out there. Mike and I will be at the Rio, and maybe we can watch the WBC final together. All right.
All right, I'll come down. I'll come see you with Dennis. So
all right, bring him too. That's fine. That'd be great. All right, thanks everyone. We're going to talk to you later. Hope you enjoyed it. It was our last live stream draft of the season for baseball. We'll be back for football. Shawn's going to be doing some Gladiator Championship live streams with me again this year. Those are always fun. So stay well. We'll see you in New Jersey or Las Vegas or online. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. To get in the game, go to playnfc.com.